Thank you all so much for joining. My name is Hebziba, and I am the moderator for today's event. I am also the um, communications manager for the KCA project in Nigeria, Noan, Nigeria. So, but I also want to encourage that if you have friends, farmers that need to be on this call, please invite them, let them join. We need more people to join, let them be a part of this. You know, one of the major things that can guarantee success in organic agriculture is actually knowledge. And that's part of what we're doing in KCA in NUAN to ensure that we are sharing as much knowledge. We are getting people that have tested and trusted resources and knowledge to come and share. So please share the link with other people to join on. The good thing is today we have two powerful sessions, but one is going to be for 10 minutes and the other one is going to be about 40 minutes. So I would invite our country coordinator now for the welcome address.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. You're welcome to our November webinar. It's interesting to have you in this call. The webinar is actually continue to gather momentum. And this is organized by Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture and Agroecology in Africa, under the umbrella of Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria. Now, Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria is the umbrella organization for stakeholders in organic agriculture and agroecology in Nigeria. And by the configuration of the participants, I know that many of the participants are not members of the association. But importantly, whether you're a member of the association or not, we are propagating the knowledge, the information about sustainability, healthy living, healthy feeding, good environment, reduction in climate change or effect of our activities on the climate change, good health. These are at the core of organic agriculture. But very importantly, the definition of organic agriculture is not what people think, because we define organic agriculture is the normal practice we have known and done, strengthened with scientific outcomes, strengthened with scientific research. So it is scientific and it is working everywhere in the world, and it covers every aspect of the value chain, from consumption to input provision, to pesticides, processing, handling, most importantly, certification, because you can't say that something is organic if it doesn't have an evidence to show. And evidence is not the one that you give, but the one that either a second party or a third party will use to confirm. So there is no need for you to start convincing people, but either second or third party have given that information that it is real. And I know that the first speaker today will try to deal with that. So, and this is our November webinar. And we organize monthly webinar except for October, where we gather in Abuja to host all the participants, all the stakeholders in organic agriculture and agroecology in West Africa. So because of that planning and implementation, it was impossible for us to do the October webinar. We skipped it, but we are doing November webinar. And you are welcome. I know that my Oga and my friend, Dr. Aliyu, he was painstakingly selected to give this talk because of his knowledge, because of his training, because of his experience. And importantly, fertility management is key in organic agriculture, because if you manage fertility properly, then the incidences of pests and diseases should be reduced, because when your crops, when the plants are healthy, the effect of pests and disease are reduced. Also, we attended we did a field visit, and someone told us that some particular crops, when they are healthy and properly nourished with a lot of sugar, he said that some pests and diseases does not like sugar, so they don't go to attack those crops. So you see, knowledge and communication is very important in organic agriculture, and it helps us to survive. So we have painstakingly selected Dr. Aliyu to come and speak to us on organic agriculture. And if you are convinced, tell others and let others tell others that there's an association called there's a body called Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria. No matter where you are, the state where you are in, we are not yet strong in the northern states, but we are ready to devote different resources to strengthening ourselves by establishing our presence in all the states of the country, especially now the northern states where we are not yet strong. We operate with state chapters. So once you are able to reach the criteria that helps us to develop a state chapter in your state, we'll definitely and happily do that so that we'll continue to preach this message. Thank you very much. Listen and make your comments and make contributions. You may be agitated somehow during the training, and you may not have to wait. You can put your chat, your question, your agitation, your comments on the chat box, and the moderator will get hold of them and get it discussed either directly while the training is going on, or present it to the presenter so that he will deal with it when during the question and answer. But don't wait so that you may not forget. Thank you very much and welcome.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that beautiful welcome. Thank you to everyone for joining in. So we'll go straight into the session. I would invite Mr. Wale Badamosi, Oyewole Badamosi, to take a 10-minute short presentation on organic agriculture and also tell us a little bit more on one. So Razak Oyewole Badamosi is a seasoned project manager with over a decade of experience in organic agriculture and soil resource management. Currently, he serves as the coordinator for Ecological Organic Agriculture Initiative (EOAI) in West Africa. His expertise spans across project management, value chain development, team building, training, and data analysis, all project towards promoting sustainable organic agricultural processes. Throughout his career, Badamosi has contributed significantly to organic agricultural research and publications. His research has been published in several esteemed conferences around the world. So join me as I invite Mr. Wale Badamosi for a 10-minute session just to bring us up to date on organic agriculture and the role that Nuan is playing. Mr. Wale, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Efsiba, for the introduction. I'm quickly going to share my screen now so that we can have a start. But I want to appreciate you and the president for the opportunity to be able to share with the great people on this network some of the things that we do. I just want to give us a tip, something like an opener for as regard organic agriculture. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I want to just give us a brief as regard what organic agriculture really entails. When we talk about organic agriculture, what do we mean? We're talking about a holistic production system that sustain the health of people, environment, which it embraces both traditional and scientific knowledge in doing this. It is a production system that has been for quite some time, and it has continued to evolve as a major stream running through the principles which is standing on, talking about the health, ecology, environment, which I'll be going to in a jiffy. But to not to waste our time, can you hear me, please?
It is better for you to plan a lesson very well.
Okay, yes, what we're talking about, it's a production system. Somebody else, I think somebody else is interfering. Okay, good. Yes, we're talking about organic agriculture. It's a production system that involves the use of synthetic materials. Yes, you can see my video now. Yes, it's involves the use of synthetic fertilizer, synthetic inputs generally, and other feed additives that are of synthetic origin. It is a production system which, as you can see in my slide here, it encompasses the use of low energy use. It draws more on the use of inputs that are readily available within our community for our production system, not just at production level, at also the value addition and also processing level. It embraces technologies like crop rotation, no synthetic fertilizer, use of local resources, the use of organic fertilizers, reduction in use of non-renewable resources. As a result, lowering water consumption, increasing soil organic matter, improving soil water holding capacity, and also some other things that organic agriculture embraces. Okay, yes, the production system is spun on 4 principles. Basically, the principle of health, principle of ecology, principle of fairness, and principle of care. And what are we talking about in this with these principles? Of course, we know that in recent time we have agriculture being seen as not just production system, but a livelihood, a lifestyle of people. But for the for the principle of health, principle of health entails organic agriculture is practiced in such a manner that what is done has no adverse effect on eventual consumer of the food. The production level and whatever it is used at production level does not have any adverse effect on the health of the eventual consumer, because it is expected that what we eat is supposed to give us life, not to cause harm. And that is what the principle is looking at. Principle of ecology also talks about production systems such that the environment is preserved, is captured, the natural ecosystem is preserved. We don't contribute to global issues like climate change, deforestation, and the like, that is eventually causing increase in temperature. And what our leaders at present are talking about in COP29 and the like, which is important for us to really lower the effect of climate change while we do agriculture, particularly when we do industrial agriculture. This is very important. The principle of fairness talks about everybody, the entire people involved in the value chain, being fair to even the animal that is being raised, also taking note of the physiological properties of animals being produced and allowing such animal to have such an ambience. That is why organic agriculture talks about having poultry being raised in a free range where the birds can express their physiological character of flying, doing sand baths, and the like. And also the laborers at the farm are also taken care of, no child labor. The other laborers that are involved are also taken care of conveniently, and everybody is happy. While we look at the principle of care in terms of care of everybody that is involved in the production system. Now, I quickly want to emphasize on this, which has to do with organic agriculture in relation to other traditional practices. Yes, organic agriculture, in what it has, what we have seen in the production is that a lot of people has equate organic agriculture to be equals to traditional farming. But meanwhile, while we have component of traditional farming in organic agriculture is more than traditional farming. It embraces use of technology, innovation, science in the production of what we do, so that we can have we can achieve food security in terms of both quality and quantity. Please take note of that. We're talking about food security. We're talking about in terms of both quality and quantity. And what are the things that organic agriculture has in common with traditional farming? Of course, in traditional farming, we see that there's no use of fertilizer, synthetic chemical fertilizers, pesticide, and the like. There's also no use of genetically engineered plants and animal. Meanwhile, traditional farming embraces the use of manure. In fact, that is one of the things that makes majority of the policymakers that has little information about organic agriculture, equating organic agriculture to the use of organic fertilizer. And that we have seen in many places. Talking about organic agriculture, what to be mentioned will just be equating organic practices to the use of simply organic fertilizer, because the level they are seeing it as equal to traditional farming. But at this level, hello, somebody, note 12, note 12, please, you can mute. Is interfering? Is more than the use of fertilizer. Organic agriculture spans more than that. Also, there are some methods that can be found in both, which can be found in traditional farming that are also embedded in organic. Like, for instance, close nutrient cycling. I told us that our low external input organic agriculture rather emphasizes the use of what you have in our environment and a little bit of what can be a little bit of external input being introduced into the farm. It's in fact you say it can be a closed system where you have your nutrients being recycled. You also have opportunity of doing some mulching, some composting around using materials that are available within the farming system to produce this. We also see something like mixed cropping or other crop rotation system as some of the technologies are methods that are found in traditional farming that are also common to organic agriculture. We talk about sustainable management of resources like soil, energy, water, maintenance of soil fertility. Dr. Ali will be talking about soil fertility in some minutes extensively, which I wouldn't be dwelling on. Maintenance of soil fertility, then prevention of soil erosion, while using the animal-friendly husbandry practices within the system. But let me now go to the third aspect, which has to do with specifics that has to do with basically organic farming. The first one has to do with introduction of microbial preparation for pest management. That is bringing in external inputs, introduction of microbial preparation. We talk about release or efficient attraction of beneficial insects. For instance, you can have your plants at flowering stage, something like watermelon. You can bring a beehive to your farm so that it can assist in pollination and also do more. A symbiotic relationship. The bee will feed on the pollen will cross-pollinate the flower for you to have more fruits. We talk about use of high yield but disease-resistant breeds and also crops. That is very important, and that's what we'll talk about. When we talk about this high yield, it is totally excludes the use of genetically modified organism. That is basically not allowed in the organic system. We're talking about also the introduction of efficient green manure, cover crops, nitrogen fixing trees, and the like, which are basically technologies that are found in organic system that may not be available in traditional system. We also talk about use of improved tools for cultivation, tractors for land preparation, and the like, while application of improved compost method and biofertilizers is also found in the organic system. I want to quickly pause here because I think I've done more than 5 minutes of my time. But let me just introduce to us our Association of Organic Agriculture, which is the umbrella body for all the stakeholders involved in organic agriculture in Nigeria. It draws membership from farmers. That is where we work. That's our organization, Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria. It's an umbrella body for all the actors, all the stakeholders involved in organic agriculture in Nigeria, with our membership drawn from students to scientists, from farmers, exporters, individuals, institutions, farmers group, cooperatives, NGOs, any organization as you want to mention it. Our operation is hinged on these 6 thematic areas, which are advocacy, capacity building training, standard and certification, marketing, production and processing, and also research. For more information on all this that I have mentioned, you can visit our website, which is noanigeria.net, and you are invited to also join us. The logo on your far right is the PGS standard. It's one of the things that we offer in the association. We are also in charge of the certification of organic production system at the participatory guarantee system level for the country, which we are encouraging all the actors that are producing anything that has to do with organic to really take advantage of this value quality assurance mechanism of having their farms and their production system certified as participatory guarantee system within the non-certification system. That is important. With this more information, I want to really appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and I want to wish all of us a good morning and have a lovely presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for especially keeping to time as much as you can. Thank you. So once again, thank you all for joining. And but permit me, just before we take the citation, a short bio of Dr. Aliyu to tell us quickly about the KCOA Multiplier Network. It's a network that you definitely want to be a part of. So I'm just going to share my screen briefly while I talk about it. The knowledge. Your success in organic agriculture is equivalent to how much knowledge that you have. So I'll share this. I hope you can see my screen. This is the KCA multiplier network database. So this database is completely free. You can go on the platform. Again, please, let's stay muted. I know that a few of us, let's please stay muted. All right, thank you. So this is the KCA multiplier network. This is a flyer. It's totally free to sign up. And what are the benefits? We have over 990 knowledge products. Knowledge products are researches that people have done on organic agriculture, name it. It's free for you to download and use. We also have a blog where there's a blog post that you can, if you sign up on the platform, be a part of it, connect with other people all across Africa. I will tell you that we have over 1,000 people there from across Africa. It's also a collaborative way to collaborate with other people in organic agriculture field across Nigeria. So you want to sign up on it. The website is www.kca/Africa. We're going to be inviting Dr. Aliyu very soon. Dr. Aliyu Mohammed has a vast experience in organic soil fertility. He holds science and technical knowledge. He holds a BA in soil fertility and a PhD in soil science from Ahmadu Bello University and Fodio University, Sokoto, respectively, through the use of organic resources. And Dr. Aliyu is a soil scientist. He's also a member of one. He served as agriculture MOPA and currently holds Badamosi Babangida University, Lapia, Niger State, as well as the Abdulkadir Nuri University, Mina, Niger State, all in Nigeria. So with so much joy, we welcome Dr. Aliyu to take the floor, to take the stage, the virtual stage, as we start. Over to you, sir.
Please permit me to stand on the already established protocol by the powerful madam, but I want to give a special recognition to our president. I used to call him professor, but he always denies it. But I think he can't stop me from doing that. So I want to give KCOA, I want to thank them so very much for giving me the opportunity to participate in one of their webinars. And today, we are going to talk on soil fertility management in organic farming. I just want to give you a little background why I so much love soil fertility, especially using organic matter to improve our soils. When I was undergoing my PhD at the Usman Fodio University, Sokoto, my work was on incorporation of legumes. These are cowpea vines into the soil. And we had that problem of, is it the animals that we should give that vines, or is it the soil that we should give the vines? So it became a very serious issue, but I insisted that, is it the soil first or the or the animals first. And I think at the end, everybody keyed into our idea of ensuring that the soil is fertile using organic materials. So today I'm going to speak on soil fertility management in organic farming. Organic farming and organic agriculture, sometimes you use them interchangeably. But however, for organic farming, it is more of the methods you use in cultivating your crop using natural or organic materials. Now, by way of preamble, it is no more a news that most of our soils are poor as far as fertility is concerned. And this poses a very serious threat to food security and nutrition. Not even food security, even the nutrition. How qualitative is the food that you are eating? More so that the population of all over the world is increasing at an alarming stage. So that something must have to be done. And what has to be done must be very healthy. And if we want to use inorganic fertilizer, for example, which releases its nutrients very fast, the dangers associated with that mineral fertilizer, or what we call the inorganic fertilizer, it is better not to go near it. And I believe that is the problem that, using these inorganic fertilizers are some of the challenges that we are facing all over the world, particularly in Nigeria. Most of our soils are gone because we use this inorganic fertilizer indiscriminately. So therefore, attention of many of stakeholders all over the world is being drawn towards the use of organic resources as soil amendments, because it presents a more sustainable method of food production all over the world. Now, organic resources is very effective in ensuring that there's improvement in soil quality, especially the physical, the biological, and the chemical properties. No wonder. So, attention of stakeholders is being drawn towards the use of organic matter as soil amendment because of its importance, particularly in improving the quality of the physical, biological, and chemical properties of the soil. And when you look at the 4 principles, soil health is a key component of that. And it is so because the health of the soil is, by implication, the health of whatever lives in the soil or whatever is the products of the soil, particularly the food that we eat. And if you look at that also, you find out that if you have a very good soil health, the biodiversity, you see a lot of different, many different organisms in the soil. And then even the ecological balance is also improved upon. So you can see that you cannot pay for what organic residues or organic resources are doing in the soil. To me, I see soil as a loose porous material that is made up of minerals, and it contains organic matter, it contains water, it contains air. And then it is used to support plant growth, support and provide nutrients for the plant. I'm bringing this definition of soil because gradually there are so many agitations now that you want to go soilless. So I'm still advocating that with the definition of this soil, we shouldn't go soilless so that we don't go out of job. So soil is very, very important. And as I've said, the soil contains a lot of organic matter. And you can see earthworm, you can see millipedes, you can see bacteria, which are microorganisms, and even plant roots. All of these are dwelling in the soil. And soil is also a natural resources that God has blessed us with. It takes care of so many things. It converts animal residues to very useful nutrients in the soil. It transforms nutrient efficiency and so on and so forth. So it is a natural buffer. It takes care of so many things that if the soil were not to be there, only God knows where we will be. Now, for soil fertility, when we say soil fertility, it connotes the capacity of the soil to provide essential nutrients in adequate quantities. But you can see that independent of direct application of nutrients, I decided to put that in red so that the soil, a very healthy soil, should be able to take care of itself through recycling of organic matter, not necessarily bringing maybe other forms of fertilizer. The soil should be able to take care of itself by recycling what it has. And once that is done, you know, the humus that is so form, a lot of nutrients, both macro and micronutrients are present in that soil. Now, when we say fertile soils, or when we say soil that is fertile, what are the characteristics? And so many characteristics are there. I won't be able to mention all of them, but you can see that a fertile soil must have macronutrients that will be available to the plant for proper growth. It must have proper quantity of organic matter. And then also, soil pH is also very key in the microbial activities and even the growth of plants in the soil. And you see that this organic matter is able to stabilize, or stabilize the soil to give us a pH of between 6 and 6.5, which is very, very okay for most living organisms in the soil. And you find out that for a fertile soil, it is crumbly. When you take a wet soil, put it in you fetch it, you try to make a ball, and then once you release it, it becomes a ball. But with a little pressure, the ball can get destroyed. So and that is a well-structured soil. And when the soil has a very good structure, it means it can do a lot of things. It retains water, it retains stored nutrients, it releases and so on and so on. Microorganisms are able to live comfortably in a soil that has a very good structure. And then for a fertile soil, the biological activities are also are not comparable. So these are some of the properties of a fertile soil, though I have mentioned some of them. Contains minerals, it is neutral to soil acidic, it retains water, it has good structure, and so on and so forth. Now, sustainable maintenance of these soil qualities, and even better on our farms, is the big task before the organic farmers. So we should ensure to maintain these good qualities of soil fertility. And most of the qualities that these fertile soils have are from the cycling of nutrients as a result of the organic matter that has been introduced into the soil. Now, what is organic farming? Like I said earlier, that there is a difference between organic agriculture and organic farming. And I said organic farming has to do with the methods of cultivating crops and raising livestock through natural means. And then this natural means, all of that must conform with the organic agriculture standards. No use of fertilizers, no use of pesticides, no use of GMOs, and so on and so forth. Now, the benefits of organic farming are so numerous, but the one that interests me most, which does not affect the soil anyway, this one affects the plants that grow on the soil. For example, if I grow pepper on the soil, you find out that the pepper you get from organic from organic farming system, you find out that they are tastier, they are richer in nutrients, and they have plenty of antioxidants. And in terms of long shelf lives, in fact, they are so many times better than the conventional foods. And even in preserving some of this, you can keep it for some time and you find out that the organic, it tastes very fine, very different from the conventional food. And then as regard to the soil, the organic matter maintains soil capital for future generations. You don't destroy the soil so that our great-grandchildren don't have anywhere to work on to grow their own food if you use inorganic fertilizer. But these ones will be able to, is sustainable. And for years to come, we'll be able to use it. It mitigates climate. It reduces soil nutrient loss. It reduces erosion, and so on and so forth. So these are the work of organic matter. So you see, when we say organic farming, it means you use a lot of organic matter. And when you use a lot of organic matter, all these benefits, you get them. My own definition or idea about soil fertility management in organic farming, that organic soil fertility management in organic farming is a set of practices or methods used by the organic farmer to improve capacity of soil on his farm to provide adequate nutrients for sustainable crop production without compromising efficient nutrient cycling. And when we say with emphasis here, you don't remove your organic matter from the farm. You don't burn them. Allow them to decompose so that the nutrients, both macro and micronutrients, can be taken back to the soil. And the better will be the life of our microorganisms and so on. Now, what are those organic resources that are used in organic farming? I want to state here that the organic resources that we use, that we should use for our farm, on our farms, must be from organic system. As much as possible, it should be from organic system. Don't go and bring organic matter from places where you have plenty of fertilizers, inorganic fertilizer being used. It is better you use organic matter from the organic system. But I think the standards has given us some leverage where if this is not available, the conventional farming system can be tolerated. So, but as much as possible, let's try to see if we can get the organic residues to amend our soils with. Now, there are three major groups of organic resources. We have those ones that are coming from microorganisms. We have those ones that are coming from plants. And we have those ones that are coming from animals. So all the organic resources that we know come from these three groups of organisms. And you can see those are farm-owned organic matter. So all these are some of the organic matter we get from our farms through mulching, through cover crops, through this compost, and so on and so forth. Now, why organic resources? Why organic resources in soil? And the importance of organic resources in the soil, it provides food and a very good conducive environment of soil organism. It balances our nutrient supply. Virtually all the nutrients are available in the soil. But, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur are the most abundant nutrients that you find in organic matter, even though all these other ones, you can find them in some quantities that can make the plants to do well. So, and then this organic matter have capacity to retain nutrients and even water. And then one good thing about, applying organic fertilizer, organic manure or organic resources is that it improves nutrient synchrony and priming effect. It releases this nutrient in such a way that when the plants need it, they are able to get it. Not that, sometimes if you apply this inorganic, they may not be available to the plant when the plant is, or if there's maybe a lot of rainfall, it is washed off. But this one's gradually, and then it synchronizes with the period that the plants actually require that. So organic amendment of our soils is very, very important. Now, these are some of the importance out of the many that we have mentioned. Now, examples of organic amendments. Those ones that are plant-based, we have those ones that we get from feed crop residues, from leaves of plants, from twigs, from pruning. When you have a big tree, for example, Leucaena leucosepala is a leguminous plant, you can grow them and then you prune. Then you can use it to mulch your farm, or you can incorporate them into your soil. And I'm telling you, the soil is good to go because they are leguminous. Then you have other palm kernel and so on and so forth, organic matter. All these are allowed by the Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria. Their standard, it is allowed to be used. Then we have those ones that are from animals, particularly those ones from animals are usually, poultry droppings, cattle, goats, rabbits, and so on and so forth. So most of the droppings by this group of animals, we can use them as soil amendment. Now, the practical methods of managing soil fertility, I think this is where more talking will be done. Now, we have two categories of soil organic matter, soil fertility improvement practically. One angle is improve organic matter contents. And how are you able to achieve that? You can achieve that through compost application, through green manuring, and through recycling of valuable animal manure. Then the third one is supplementing the nutrients. There are extreme cases where the soil may not be able to release the nutrient that it has to the plants. For example, if there is extreme pH, for example, if the pH is, less than 4.5, or it is greater than 8, then you find out that the plants will find it very, very difficult to, in fact, most of the nutrients in such soils are immobilized. They cannot be used by the plants. And the plants may not even be able to take in water because of the high soil reaction condition. And how do you overcome this? You can overcome that by applying liquid fertilizers, and then you can use lime. And lime here is not the normal agricultural lime. You can get your lime from your houses. This ash is a very good way. So you don't say you are burning your residues on your farm so that you can get ash. No. Organic farmers don't do that. And I think it's not allowed in organic agriculture practice. Then we can also use irrigation for example, you can use irrigation to reduce extreme soil basicity. And also, if there is a lack of water, which is another extreme condition for plants, if there is drought, plants don't do well, so you have to augment. Now, those steps of organic agriculture management, I think I have mentioned them. We have soil and water conservation, we have soil organic matter management, we have application of supplements. I think that has been explained. And these are the tools that you use. And what I mean by the tools, how would you be able to achieve those three soil fertility management strategies? And that has also been explained. Now, for pH, the optimum pH for soil, some will say it is 6 to 6.5. But I want to believe that from experience and from my researches, from 5.8 to 6.5 is a very good range that will encourage nutrient release, that will encourage soil organisms survival. And then laboratory analysis of soil substances can be used to achieve this. So most of us do shy away from knowing the chemical and physical status of soils. We just jump into farming, and I wonder if you are a doctor and I come to you, and you just, before I even say anything, you just begin to write and write and write until you are tired. I think that is not good enough. Soil too, because we know we deserve, there is a need for us to take care of the health of the soil. And we can only take care of the health of the soil when you know the problem of the soil. So I encourage all of us to do that. Then before you apply your organic matter, there's what we call quality. You need to know the quality of what you are amending your soil with. If you don't know the quality, you may be surprised that you may not be able to get what you actually need from that particular plant. It may not decompose, and if it doesn't decompose, then the release of minerals by the organic matter may not be possible, no mineralization. So, but if you check out the quality of the organic residue or the organic matter or resources that you want to use in amending your soils, I think it is very, very important. So you can do that by knowing the carbon-nitrogen ratio, the lignin content, and the polyphenol content. All this, you can get them in the soil microbiology laboratories. They can get the assessment for you. So what we are saying here is, before you plant anything on your soil, please use your soil testing kit, at least soil testing kit. That will give you an estimate values of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and even pH on your soil. And that will guide your amendment strategy. And then whatever you are using to amend, you need to know the decomposability, whether it will decompose or it will not decompose. And when you use your C/N ratios, it will be able to give you that. For example, if you carry out your quality analysis, if your C/N ratio is 25, your lignin is 15%, your polyphenol content is 4%. Then once these values are less, if it is less able to add value, will not be able to do much on your soil. So it is advisable to do this before you do any organic amendment. Endeavor to find out the quality of whatever you are applying. And then what is currently being practiced by organic farmers is that they just, whatever quantity of organic matter they have, they just apply, not minding the nutrient content of that organic material resources that they are using to amend their soils. And I think that is not good enough. Although organic resources are not too dangerous, they are not, but then if we we'll be able to apply the actual nutrient content that is in that organic matter, then it will be okay. So we say maybe if it is 120 kg N or 330 kg N or this and that, you should be able to know that, not just to go. My advice to the organic farmers, I know it is not very easy, but gradually we'll get there, where we know the nutrient content of whatever we're applying. We know the quality of whatever we're applying. We know the fertility status of the soil. Then organic agriculture will get where we want it to be. Now, for plant-based soil fertility resources, soil improvement facilities, I look at several ways of that we can use organic resources to amend our soil so that we can get the benefit that we have. And one is through the use of green manures. And when we talk about green manure, you just grow, particularly leguminous crops are very good in this area. You just grow them, allow them to get to probably near flowering, that means the soil has not started producing grains. Then at that stage, or you don't even allow it to flower, just very close to flowering, or maybe thereabout. Then you now reincorporate them into the soil. You plow them, you return them back into the soil. And I think that will add plenty of organic matter to the soil. And then benefits are numerous. Our microbial organisms will be happy. There will be more nitrogen in the soil, and so on and so forth. So that is green manuring. And then we have a lot of plants. Yes, like I said, you can use legumes. You can use mukuna. There was that documentary I watched by ARCN. In fact, I was moved, and I said, henceforth, I shall be practicing conservation agriculture. This documentary, sparked my more love for organic agriculture. And when you see the soil, the structure of the soil, very beautiful. The biodiversity, the living organism that you find in that soil, wow, very beautiful. So, and it is through these cover crops. So green manure, you can also include green manure in rotation. When you grow your cereals, you can bring mukuna, you can now grow other crops, so that this can add organic matter. These are some of the strategies that you can use organic matter. You can introduce organic matter into your farm. Then we have the relay. Here is another interesting strategy to ensure soil fertility and increase organic matter content. Once you have plenty of organic matter in your soil, so many things will be happening. Your microorganism will be happy. There will be more nutrient for your crop. There will be more water holding capacity in the soil. There will be, retention of or storage of nutrients, and it will be released as at when due. So these are some of the benefits. So when you increase the quantity of organic matter application to your soil, you have a lot of things happening. Then for the relay, here you plant for example, you plant your maize, and after planting maize, then towards the maturity or maybe flowering of the maize, you now plant mukuna, which is a non-grain legume. And then as you harvest your whatever, then you find out that the mukuna will cover the soil and then close to rainy season. So you can see that your soil is protected from all sorts of heat, and the microorganisms underneath are doing very well. A lot of recycling is taking place. To just remove your maize, and then you expose the soil to heavy sunlight, which results to loss of so many biodiversity. So that is relay. So relay is very, very also good. You do it so that your soils can be protected before the coming of the rainy season. Then we have so many examples of green manures that you can use. Lab, velvet bean. You have others like the mukuna, like the Grisidia. All these are very good green manure. And like I said, you can also plant trees, agroforestry. For example, this Lucinia leucocephala or acacia. Those plants are very good. They can fix a lot of nitrogen. You can use their residues to improve soil organic matter content and then the environment. Then you can also plant cover crops like the cream or bush mukuna. It's a very good cover crop. In fact, in that documentary by Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, they use this cream mukuna, and it is so beautiful. It produces a lot of biomass. And this biomass, of course, once returned into the soil, you can imagine the amount of organic matter. And then it also covers the soil. It protects the soil against erosion. Then these are some of the examples of plants that you can use. And like I said, this thing will prevent erosion. It regulates moisture and improves soil nutrient profile. So these are some of the examples of cover crops. You can use cover crops with intercrop with annual. You can use cover, in relay form. You can use cover crop and in so many, even as permanent crops, you can use that. Then, so these are some of the different possibilities of covering the soil. You can see mulching. You can use mulch, crop residues to cover the soil. You can use green to cover the soil. You can use, you can do that through alley cropping, where you plant trees, leguminous trees by the side, and then in between, sorry, the space between these two rows, you can plant your annual crops. And you can prune and to provide organic matter to your soil. Then we have the relay. I think that has been explained. Then application of mulch. We are all aware of the mulch. There are two types of mulch anyway. The organic mulch and then the artificial mulch. But you get more value when you apply organic mulch. Those are plant residues or maybe prunings or maybe green manure. You can use them as mulch. And once they decompose, they add value. They increase organic matter content, they increase the soil structure, there's improvement in the soil structure. And like I said, it's also provide provide food for organisms in the soil, because most organisms, microorganisms, rely on organic matter as source of their food. So this is how to apply your mulch. And it is always good not to allow your mulch to cover the stem as much as possible. Just let there be little gap between the mulch and your plant stem. And it has a lot of advantage. That has been practiced, and that is what we're able to observe. Then you can see these two diagrams, these two this maize crop. You find out that one is doing well, and the other one that is not mulch is of course not doing well. I think there is something this mulch is doing. It does a lot of things. And I believe we all know what mulch does. It covers the soil, there is less loss of water, and the mulch can decompose to add more organic matter, and then it can increase the microbial activities since they have more food there. And I think that is responsible for the beautiful look that maize that is mulch is looking. Then we have alley cropping. Alley cropping here is when you plant trees, most of the time, preferably leguminous trees, like Lucina plants or acacia. You plant them in rows, and in between these two rows, you can plant your annual crops. And from time to time, you can prune and use it as cover crops, or you can prune and then use them as mulch, or you can prune and incorporate them into the soil. So that is one importance of this alley crop. Prune them and reintroduce them. It provides a lot of organic matter to the soil. And that is still alley. Then crop rotation. From kindergarten, we know what crop rotation is. When you plant this crop this year, you plant another one on the same plot of land the following year. And then most of this rotation is you rotate maybe cereals and and legumes and cover crops. When you introduce cover crop into your rotation system, it's so good. It will be very, very good. So you have your cereals, you have your legumes, and then you have cover crop. Then you come back to legumes, cereals again. You find out that before you come back to cereals, you have plenty of organic matter in the soil, which will help in the development of your crop. Then the legume, of course, will fix atmospheric nitrogen. We'll see that when we come to the microorganisms in the soil. Now, this rotation definitely will benefit the farmer. Then there is what we call plant tea. when you get, when you pluck leaves of a green sappy leaves, when we say green sappy, it means it is still very healthy leaf with plenty of sap, plenty of water in it. Then you can use that, you can fetch that, and then you chop it, use your cutlass to chop it into smaller pieces. And then preferably, it is good you use plants that have high nitrogen content. And I observed that this tithonia is a very common plant. It's a plant, it's a wild sunflower plant. You see with yellow flowers. This plant is very, very good. In fact, even those who do a lot of composting, they use this tithonia they use it in combination with the animal droppings. You combine them and then it gives you a very, very good compost. You can also use velvet bean, and then you can use other plants. But advisably, from experience, you use plants that have high nitrogen content, so that once you put them in, once you follow these procedures, you find out that with most of the nutrients in that plant will be released, and then you can apply, after removing the leaves, you can use the extract. You can use it to apply to your crop. And this is how it goes. You get 2 parts of the plants to 3 parts of water. You mix them, you get them in a drum, and then you cover the drum and you stir every 3 days. And after 15 days, you remove those plant materials. And honestly, if you apply them to your soil, you'll find out that there is improvement in the soil. You can see pictorially what this person is doing is cutting the leaves of maybe probably, but this, I don't know whether this is tithonia, but this is another plant that I believe has high nitrogen, and that is a drum. So 2:3, 2 plants, 3 water, and then you put them in the drum, and then you put you immerse the plant material into the water, and then you cover, and then you stir after every 3 days. And preferably you do this under the shade. Don't do it under the sun. The shade will protect what we call volatilization of maybe the nitrogen that will just disappear. So, and after that, you can now apply. And then the application has, there are standards of applying. You do so as long as you can. It doesn't have limits, but that one you have to dilute the extract to water content to 1 extract. You mix together, and then you can use that to apply to your crop. But then you do that very close on the soil surface, not on the plant. Then so that is for the plants. Now for the animal-based soil fertility improvement strategies. And this animal based, we have already given some examples: poultry droppings, cattle, dongs, sheep, goat droppings, and so on and so forth. Those are some of the animal droppings that we use as an organic amendment in in organic farming. Now, first and foremost, you can apply droppings from chicken, from sheep, from cattle. You can apply directly. Not necessarily you have to compost. But as a mini cure, as a very small cure, it is advisable, it is advised that you air dry. Please, this term, air dry. You dry this organic matter under shade, maybe under tree, and from time to time you go there to spread it. And once it is dry, you can bag and then apply. You can apply them on your farm directly. But it is not advisable to, when you collect from the where these things are being, where the animals are being reared, then straight to the farm. there is fear that you may likely contact some germs. So advisably, you air dry. And when you air dry, the nutrient to a very large extent is still being maintained, and then you can take them to your farm. Now, to facilitate decomposition, I know in chemistry, those of us in academics, the larger the surface area, the higher the reaction. And small particles have large surface area. So it's advisable that when you air dry, after air drying, then you blend. You blend. We have blending machine. Noah gave us the opportunity to be in one organic agricultural farm in Ibadan. And I was so happy what I saw. Very, very interesting. And they were able to produce. They have a blender that they use in blending their compost. So they blend and then they bag and then they seal. So it's a very beautiful thing to see. Now, so it is advisable you air dry and then you blend. The essence of blending or reducing it to smaller sizes is to ensure decomposition. Microbes will be able to act on it fast than when they are big. And we know according to organic agriculture standard, no sewage use, no pig feces, no night soils. In fact, there was one workshop that Mr. President asked me to represent NOAA, and there was that serious argument that people in Israel, they make a lot of money from sewage. I say, the NOAA standard for now, I don't know whether after review it will be looked into. So for now, we cannot use sewage, or neither can we use human feces or pig feces. That is in compliance with that. Then for that, when you get a fresh, you can use fresh. Now this is a production of what do you call this? Production of manure tea. We also have the way we have plant tea, we have manure tea also, and it's almost similar in preparation. You get you get your animal dung fresh from the pen. You fetch about 50 kg and then put it in your drum and then put enough water and you allow it to stand for 2 to 3 weeks, and every 3 days you come over and then you lift it up so that you can mix the tea that is being produced. You know, when you're taking Lipton tea at home, it's just similar to that Lipton tea. And you can, after some time, you find out that that has become very dark. So the darker it is, the more better is the extract from your manure. And then when you want to use, that's after 3 weeks. When you want to use, you use 2 water to 1 manure tea. That is how you prepare it. Then you can apply it to your plants at the rate of 1/2 to 1/4 liter per plant, starting from 2 to 3 weeks after planting your crop. Repeat this after every 3 weeks in the mornings. It's better you do it in the morning, not in the afternoon, because of loss of nutrients. And this is a tutorial way of how to make liquid animal manure. It is also another way of improving soil fertility. Then we have composting. Composting we have two different types of composting, the heap and then the pit. Both of them are very effective if you follow the procedures of composting. And when we talk about composting, we are talking about the breakdown of organic matter of plant or animal to produce humus. And you know, humus is very rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, which are macro nutrients. And then what you get at the end of the day is what we call compost. And the anaerobic and anaerobic respirations activities takes place to give us this mature compost. So composting is another curing strategy. And some organic farmers, organic specialists will say, if you don't, you must have to you must have to do compost, carry out compost before you apply. But it might interest you to know that the manure we apply directly after air drying has more nutrient, has more nitrogen content than the compost. I have tried to analyze compost from different outlets. A research also was carried out, and when we do that, even with organic manures that have high nitrogen content, for example, the bat manure and the poultry manure, the bat manure has more nitrogen than the poultry. But we discovered that when we use them in composting, at the end of the day, the nitrogen content that you get from that is very, very low. And the explanation was that nitrogen is already the nitrogen is already made, is no more available. It is held by the compost. So more nutrients, you get more nutrients from manure, while the compost has more organic matter content. And you know, when we talk about sequestration of carbon, that is a very good one there, composting. And when you do compost, the heat produced during composting kills a lot of germ. And that is why I believe so many organic farmers and scientists will believe that you just have to cure. You just have to do compost before you can use your manure. But we have done it, we have carried out, and it has been effective. And I'm still talking to you today. I'm not sick because of the little curing strategies that we carried out. So now these are the various stages of composting process. And you know, composting is you can see that at the beginning it is very fast, and then as the temperature is increasing, when you put the stick in the compost, from time to time you remove the stick to fill it, and you will know whether there is moisture, and you will know whether the composting is actually taking place. So the stick will tell you that there's moisture, and the temperature, the heat you also feel from the stick that you have inserted in the compost will guide you whether to add water or whether not to add water, and to know whether composting is taking place or is not taking place. And bacteria are those ones that will do that work. Then gradually, once the temperature begins to fall, then it means compost is about to mature. And at that level, at that stage, you have a lot of fungi that are doing the decomposition. And by the time it is finally cool, then it means you can now begin to see other organisms coming to, for example, you see earthworm and some other organisms that will assist in the further decomposition. So these are some of the strategies that you can use to carry out compost. And once that is done, you can now apply your compost. So the slide I'm sharing is a pit. Compost, you dig a pit, and then you lay your organic materials. Then you lay your animal dung. Then you lay your plant. then you lay your animal dung again, then you lay your plant, and then you can cover with banana leaves, and then you insert stick, so that from time to time you can remove that stick to know whether there is moisture and to know whether the heat is being produced. And that will tell you that composting is taking place. Now, like that. So there are procedures. In fact, compost is a special topic that it can take a whole webinar. Now, another way that you can improve soil fertility is through the kind of tillage that you practice. When you till the land, the microbes, the microbial community in that soil are distorted. So, and that's why it is, even if you use hoe, if you till with hoe, once you disturb the soil, you disturb the soil microbial community. And you know how important these soil microbial communities are. They are very, very important in organic farming system, because they are the key supplier of the nutrients. They are the key supplier of retaining water. They are the key supplier of even the root growth within the plant, because of it produces a very beautiful structure that is very important for plant growth. So it is better if you don't plow. If you must till your land. Otherwise, no tillage, or what some people will call zero tillage, will be better. But if it becomes very, very necessary, then instead of using plowing machine, it's better you use a disc to plow your land. And the most important one, the most important equipment that you can use on your farm that will not disturb the microorganisms if you want to use machine is the reapers. These are machines that work on the, it's just the surface, the topsoil that it works on. It doesn't go down to bring subsoil up. So, as much as possible, we encourage that you should disturb the soil. You should not disturb the soil as much as possible, except if it becomes very, very necessary. So these are some of the tilling machines. And we know that some of these things, if you use those machines, sometimes they can result to pans, very hard surface. Sorry, beneath the topsoil, you have a very hard pans, and you know that roots cannot pass through that pans, and it means scouting for nutrient becomes a problem until that pans are breaking. Then you can see reapers, example of reapers. They are very good. It's recommended for you to use on your farm as for tillage. Now, erosion control. When I was in secondary school, whenever I hear about soil conservation, I discovered that my teacher will not talk about anything. He will just come and be telling me about what is erosion. I say, but sir, you say soil conservation, but you are always talking about soil erosion. I say soil erosion is the major soil conserving strategy. If you're able to control your soil, so many soil properties will be maintained. And this soil erosion, we know it is the physical removal of soil particles from the surface, from one point, from where the soil particle is resting to another place, no matter how little the distance is. And we have so many different types of soil erosions. And this erosion is a big threat to soil fertility, because where soil erosion develops to gullies, you cannot work. In fact, where you have a lot of runoff, both the topsoil that contains plenty of organic matter and the biodiversity, most organisms in the soil are from 0 to 15. Sorry, 0 to 4. 0 to 10. From 0 to 10, that is where you have plenty of microorganisms and even those organisms that will help in soil formation. For example, the earthworm and others. You find many of them within that 0 to 10. And if you remove that topsoil, of course, you are doing so many damage to the soil. And once you have erosion, which can be water erosion, which can be wind, most of these things can be removed, and the soil is left bare. And of course, that will not be good for organic farming. So you can correct some of these things by growing cover crops, by mulching, through contour building and terracing. And these are some examples of soil erosion. There are so many of them, but these are the most common ones. You have the splash. Once the rain falls, the raindrops fall on the surface of the soil and it displaces the soil. And once it displaces the soil, gradually you begin to see little channels, sheets. And then these channels begin to grow in size. That's the rain. And before you know it, it becomes a very deep channel, which we now refer to as erosion. When you have all this taking place, organic matter is lost. Working on your farm is not going to be easy, and so on and so forth. So erosion is a very serious issue that we have to control. We don't remove topsoil. Sorry, we don't remove cover crops anyhow. You must do it with knowledge. So you can use cover crops. We have mentioned cover crops to do that. Then soil reaction is if you are able to manage the acidity and the alkalinity of your soil, then you'll be able to manage a very good soil that will have diversity of organisms. Soil acidity, for example, acidity that is less than 4, pH of less than 4, or pH of greater than 8. All these they are too high for nutrient availability. They are too high for microorganisms to live in, and they are too high for even the roots. They can burn the roots. So if you are able to manage that, and then if you introduce your soil organic matter, soil organic matter can manage soil acidity, because these are serious problem soils, and you can correct some of these problem soils by organic matter application. So organic matter application sometimes serve as a buffer. It tries to regulate the changes in the pH, and you find a very beautiful life. And one way that you can correct that is through lime, like I said earlier. And the lime you can use is ash to reduce acidity. I think, what do you call this? Kanwa? You call it limestone. It's natural. I think those ones can be tolerated by the organic agricultural standards. Then you can also use tolerant crops. You grow tolerant crops on such fields, so that those ones that are tolerant to acid, for example, citrus and pineapple, they are very good. If you grow them on acid soils, they will survive. They don't have any problem. And when you have acid soil, for example, by the time the acid soil is getting, you have about 4.5. Then it tells you that you have plenty of iron, you have plenty of aluminum there. And you know how terrible these ions are if they are in solution. In fact, they increase the acidity of the soil to a very, very large extent. So, but the best is 6 to 6.5. Organisms are very, very good there. And then you can have your calcium and magnesium in a moderate amounts. Therefore, alkaline soils, of course, if they are above 8, that's when they become very, very critical. And then you can also take care of them by applying organic matter. And then sometimes you use irrigation. You use irrigation to dissolve the salts so that they can be leached. Then you can also use banana or asparagus. So if you have a soil that, so you can see the importance of knowing your soil status, your pH status, and even the other nutrients. If you cannot do all, at least you should be able to carry out nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and pH. And your soil testing kit can give you an estimate, not the accurate value. It can give you an estimate of some of these parameters that are present in the soil. So, but if you don't have them, but you discover that, then you can use asparagus. When we are conducting practicals, I used to advise if we can use litmus paper to even know the acidity. When you use distilled water, maybe 1-to-1 ratio, distilled water and soil, and then you mix, and then you dip your litmus paper blue and red to see if it can give you some light changes. And I think we have seen that extreme cases will give you those changes in litmus paper. Then we said microorganisms to play a very important role in soil fertility improvement. And I said there are two. I have classified my microorganisms into two. We have what we call the indigenous soil microorganisms. Those are the microorganisms that are living in our soils. We didn't import them from anywhere. They are naturally present in our soils. And I have tried to identify some that are decomposers that were assist in decomposing, in breaking down organic matter that are already present in the soil. You can do you can collect the soil and do a culture of it to identify the different type of microorganisms that are there. Is it the bacteria? Is it the decomposers and so on? So we have, and then the two categories of organisms that are decomposers, major decomposers. They are the fungi and they are the fungi and the bacteria. These two organisms are the decomposers that we have in the soil. So all our organic matter that we introduce into the soil, these species, you have different species of bacteria, different species of fungi that will assist in the decomposition. And you find out that most acid soils, you find fungi there as the major decomposer. Most, less acid soils, maybe slightly acid soils, then you find plenty of bacteria there. So these are, so if you have an acid soil, you can use, you can inoculate your acid soil with fungi. They will assist you in the decomposition. Then we have the symbiotic nitrogen fixers. And these are, for example, the rhizobium, you find them in the root nodules of legumes. And if you have a groundnut growing, you uproot the groundnut, you see the nodules, they are spherical, attached to the roots of legumes. You can pull one nodules and use a razor blade to cut it. When you cut and you find out that the inner side of the nodule is pinkish, it means those rhizobium bacteria are there and they are assisting in fixing. And when we say fixing, they trap the atmospheric nitrogen and then use it and then make some available. When they die and decompose, they add the nutrients, some of the N to the soil. And that's why we use plenty of them. Sorry, we use this symbiotic, we use legumes that have symbiotic relationship with other nodules, other bacteria in crop rotation. And we have those ones that are non-symbiotic. Those ones are free living. They are just living inside the soil, not inside the plant body. So we have the non-nitrogen fixers, and we have the azospirillum. Then we have the azobacter bacteria, the cyanobacteria, the blue-green alga, and then, but the ones, the microorganisms that are very, very useful, that are very common here in Nigeria, that are commonly, they are the nitrogen fix, those are the rhizobium bacteria. And then the azospirillum. This azospirillum, researchers have shown that you can find them around the rhizosphere of the roots of plants. And you find them there and they're able to fix atmospheric nitrogen, but they are not living inside the roots, so they're not inside the plant body. They're just around the rhizosphere, around the root environment. Then we have the azobacter, free living, and so on and so forth. Then we also have, a mycorrhiza. So mycorrhiza, azospirillum, and symbiotic nitrogen bacteria, they are the most common and they are the most commonly used to improve our soil because they can fix atmospheric nitrogen and make it available to the soil. Then the other group is biofertilizers. And when we talk about these biofertilizers, we are talking about when you culture and you are able to get pure species of microorganisms, then you get you mix this pure bacteria with a carrier that will carry the bacteria, And that's why we refer to them as biofertilizer inoculants, because they have to be carried by these carriers, and then you have to inoculate, you have to introduce that inoculant to your farm. And then when you introduce that inoculant to your farm, then the bacteria will now be active around the rhizosphere of the plant, and they will be able to supply, make nutrients available to the plant. So, and the examples of the carrier are the compost. You can use compost to be a carrier of the microorganism. You can use farmyard manure. You can use vermiculite and so on to serve as carrier of these microorganisms. So this is the difference between this biofertilizer and the indigenous, those bacteria that are living, they are naturally living in our soils. This time around, you don't have to isolate them, then culture them, then get a pure culture, and then put it in a carrier. Then you now introduce that to your soil, so that the microorganisms can now be very active. And we have we have so many number of biofertilizers. So the carrier that contains rhizobium bacteria is another nitrogen fixing biofertilizer. Then you have the azotobacter, then you have the azospirillum, and then you have the mycorrhiza. So these are the three that are very common: rhizobium, azospirillum, and mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is a fungi, and you know their hyphae can grow for a very long, very long distance to get water and nutrient for the plant. You see them wound around the roots of plants, and some of them are they are found inside the plants, but some are found around their mycorrhizal infection, and we have the endomycorrhizal infection. You find them right inside the plant. But those ones that are outside can travel a very long distance to get water for the plant. And the examples of these biofixing fertilizers, you have the phosphorus, the nitrogen fixing biofertilizer, phosphorus solubilizing, those ones that solubilizes or phosphorus, those that solubilize the potassium, those that do, they were able to accelerate composting. And there are those ones that are growth promoting rhizobacteria. You find them around the root zone, and then you have the mycorrhiza fungi. So thank you very much. I think this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Please, can we give a big round of applause to Dr. Aliyu? Please, let's give him virtual round of applause, because I promise you this is a lot. Do we agree? Thank you
Doc, you deserve even more than a virtual. It should be physical.
Yeah, we agree. Yes, he presented
Honestly,
actually.
it's a lot. It's a
has done
whole
a lot.
lot. Can I let me just give us insider info. So his slide is about 90 pages. When I saw this slide, I shouted. Even him, he said, please don't be swayed by the number of this slide. I said, sir, just come and teach us like 200 level students or 100 level students. And I think he has done more than enough justice to that. So please, let's put it in the chat box. Let's acknowledge him. Let's appreciate him. This has been insightful. Thank you so much, sir. Please don't leave yet. Don't leave just yet. Make sure you do not leave yet. So let me take Mrs. Adeorike. Dr. Jude put down his hand. Who is ready? Yourself or Mr. Reginald? Who is ready? Mr. Reginald, you have 2 minutes. 1 minute for your questions, sir. Mr. Reginald, unmute yourself and speak. Okay, Mr. Idris, please, over to you.
Good afternoon.
Okay, Mr. Adeorike,
Can
yes.
I go on now?
Yes, ma'am.
I
Please go
want
ahead.
to say thank you, Doctor, for this presentation. This is fantastic. Wow, you've taken us to a higher level. This is wonderful. I know for us who are really practitioners, one of the major problems we have is really soil management. It gets to a point where the soil gets sick. And when we talk about soil amendments, before maybe another planting season, is a lot of task. So I wish it could just even dwell more on soil management, assuming that you have your soil with all the inputs, the crop rotations, the mulching, that we've been doing, teas and all that we've been doing. You just get to a point, a particular soil just gets so sick. And I also discovered that in some space, like on my farm at Epe, I noticed I have 4 different types of soil. 4 different types. What you're planting on a particular place, you go to plant, take it to another place, part of the land, it won't do well, And sometimes when we've grown a particular crop, taking for example, ugu, after a season, we take it to another place, you just realize that it just doesn't want to do well at all. I don't know. I've tried all my, but that's okay. Maybe we'll talk about soil amendments. Maybe just throw a little more light on what to really do, for.
All right, thank you very much, ma. Doctor, I believe you noted that question on soil management, especially when you have different soil on the same ground. Please let me take a 2 or 3 more questions so that you can just answer all the questions. Again, we always want to make sure that our webinar does not exceed at most 2 hours 30 minutes. We are almost 2 hours in. Mr. Idris, Mr. Idris or Mr. Reginald, whichever of you goes first. Mr. Idris,
Okay.
Mr. Reginald?
Yeah, good afternoon.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Idris.
Yes, I just want to appreciate the speaker, and as a professional technology, I believe, especially in the northern part of the country, this is one of the things that we are really, really missing. This soil analysis before going into issue of organic farming. That is why I appreciate this project and this the workshop. But I want to please plead with the house that please there is need for us to still have a kind of a webinar like this. Then I want to ask the doctor that please, you talked about the plants itself, the calcium, and you talked about banana peels. So, I have been trying to see how to use the eggshell, because when I checked based on my own analysis, I saw it has almost 90 something percent of calcium. So I don't know how will I use it and apply it into a issue like this in the soil. Is it maybe like just the way you talked about the tea and the plants you need to soak and put it in a drum and all this? Can I still do the same thing for eggshell by grinding the eggshell? What really procedure will I follow to have this kind of additive into my soil and my plants? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Mr. Reginald or Mr. Abubakar.
Good afternoon.
All right, go ahead, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, we are very grateful with Dr. Aliyu. And Dr. Aliyu, I'm also appealing and requesting that you should dwell very much on us in this northern side of the country. You see that within a space of less than 100 years, like one other person said, you will get 3, 4, 5 type of soil, and it has not been easy to some of these things, even soil erosion and the mulching. It is very, very difficult here in the north because of the stony side of it. So I think with time you should also improve for us. I mean, you should also let us know to get more improvement of this soil enhancement. And we are very grateful. And I think this has given us much to deal with this destroyed soil by the inorganic materials. And what again I want to ask, you also let us know more how we can use ash in form of the lime for the soil. Since we cannot burn the grasses in the farm, how can we use the lime or the ash? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Reginald. So I will take Mr. Abubakar Umar. I apologize if I am not giving you the right title. Um, So, Mr. Abubakar Umar, over to you, sir. Shakaria Ario. So, we want to take all the questions at the same time. Mr.
Yeah,
Ario,
yeah. Good day, everyone. Good day, the
good day.
presenter. I really appreciate Dr. Aliyu for doing justice. In short, he did more than justice to this topic, and I appreciate the organizer as well. Now, my question is actually on the direct application of the poultry or the cow dung on the farm. Based on some of the research and even practically myself, I applied one of the direct manure on the plants, and the result is that it's gone. So I want to have more clarification on how we can use it apart from the and if they apply directly or being cured under the sun. I didn't get that. Then secondly, I would also appreciate kind of program can always that we can have more people on in this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ario. Mr. Nuru, I'll take after Mr. Nuru, I'll take Mr. Adam Zaki, and that will be all so that we are short for time. Okay, so Mr. Nuru or Mr. Zaki, which of you is going first?
Good afternoon in Nigeria. Good evening here in Bangalore, India. I want to really congratulate my tenant. During his PhD, I was his tenant here. I really accommodated him. And it's a really very good presentation. And in fact, along the line he studied, he ran away. I don't know where he was until one after 2 weeks, he came back. He said he was in the farm. Yeah, so it's a very good presentation. So I want to know that you made mention about mixing a plant with water, while you say a ratio of 1 to 3 or ratio of 1 to 2. This not pea plant, while you made mention of you only mentioned one chop one inside 2. So there's supposed to be a quantification, either 1 gallon or 1 liter or 1 drum of water, so that we're able to know how to prepare that fertilizer. And secondly, also, please, I want to know if those biofertilizer you mentioned really in the market that somebody can readily buy, or you have to undergo some little process to prepare them by yourself. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Dr. Ali.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Adams or Mr. Umar, who is going first? After this
Umar
two,
Abubakar on the line.
okay, go ahead, sir.
Congratulations to the speaker and the organizers. My question is about using human feces. During the course of your lecture, you said regulatory bodies do not, for now, allow the use of human feces for composting or manuring. I will want you to please shed light. What actually is responsible for this? Thinking that the human feces will be very rich in organic manure. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Zaki. After Mr. Zaki, that will be all the questions we can take. Again, please make sure you fill the form. Mr. Zaki, please unmute yourself and speak. Mr. Adam Zaki. Okay. Okay, I think we just allowed Dr. Mohammed Lima. I'm going to be a bit partial, so I'll just give you 30 seconds to ask your questions.
Yeah, good
So,
afternoon. It's afternoon here in Pretoria, South Africa. It's a pleasure to be part of this session and congratulate the organizers and my very good friend, Dr. Aliyu. It's a very well articulated presentation. However, my observation is to the earliest is it keynote speaker, we call it when he talk about general organic agriculture. My observation is, as for livestock production, where I'm a specialist, where is my own area of specialization, I think it should dwell more on the kind of product they use in feeding the animals and not use of drugs, because it's impossible to manage animals without using warmers or antibiotics for their livelihood. Just like human beings cannot exist without getting vaccinated in early life or treated against malaria and so on and so forth. This is my observation. I hope you take note of that. Thank you for the session and congratulations once more to all the attendees and the presenters. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lima. Mr. Adam Zaki, I'm sorry, I think Mr. Wale is still on the call, the presenter of
Yeah,
that.
good afternoon. Good afternoon.
All right, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. We can hear you. Just give me 30 seconds. Mr. Wale is still on the call, so I would ask him to take that, respond to that particular question. Over to you, Mr. Zaki.
Okay, good afternoon. Mr. Doctor has done the justice to this lecture, and we really appreciate him. We learn a lot from this lecture. But what I want to ask, how can this message go? This will help us in order to take this message down to the grassroots and convince the farmers to participate fully on this organic application. Thank you so much.
All right, sir. So
good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I will concur with the other speakers on congratulating the presenter and the organizers, and happily or really when we follow the suit, we can be able to have a bumper harvest and to have a food security in our nation. My question is that, going by the presentation, there are some other method of composting. We have that some of the automatic machines that are used for composting. So I want to ask the presenter, which one is preferable, the manually done or the automatic machines or the fabricated machines, looking into the Nigerian contents? Second question is that, as the other person rightly says, so maybe I will leave it, I could have answered it indirectly, that human pieces are rich, but due to the susceptibility or risk of infection, it might not be possible to use it. And you have to get some ethical clearance and a lot of havoc in the human physics, chemically and organic microbiological or content. So we cannot use that. So my question, another question, my thought is that if we can use the animal dungeons, particularly the animal, like one of the speakers says that he's an animal specialist. Animal dungeons like cow or cattle are very good. So how come, going by the procedure, the process is high? Is there any other means that we can compose within a week? Like the automatic machine, some will give you 500 kg per day of the compost. So that's my takeaway. Thank you and congratulations once again. God bless.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. So, Dr. Aliyu, I will leave you to answer the question, but I'm going to time you. So I'm giving you 5 minutes to answer the question, sir. So please, you have just about 5 minutes.
So thank you so very much. There are more than 250 questions here, and you are giving me just 5 minutes. I don't know whether that time will be adequate. The first question on, I think, well, I didn't know to the name. When you have a farm and you find out that different spots you plant a particular plant somewhere, and then you go to the next part of your farm and the same plant is not doing well. You see, that's why we said probably the soil might be, we have what we call marginal soils, where the fertility of such marginal soils are very, very poor. But one important thing I want us to know is that the soil is very heterogeneous. The soil is very, very heterogeneous. If you take soil sample from one spot, you go 2 centimeters away from that spot, you do the analysis, you find out that the contents are different. And that's why when it comes to soil sampling, you go around your field to see, spots that are just very different from other spots. And it means the fertility of that particular spot will be different. So I want to believe that it is as a result of the heterogeneity of the soil. The soils are different. Different spots have different characteristics. And that's why when you are doing soil sampling, you do a random sampling. For 1 hectare particularly, you can take 30 core samples. And if you can take more, it gives you a better result. So we need to know what is the problem of that place. Is it pH? Is it high pH? Or is it, there must be a problem that is causing that problem. And it is through analysis that you'll be able to do it, particularly nutrient and pH analysis. That would sincerely assist. Then for egg, yes, the egg has plenty of calcium. Well, I have not come across the use of, but I think because I don't know whether they are biodegradable, the shells. And if they are, then by the time you grind to very fine powder, when you reduce to fine powder, the better the action. So if it is well grinded, very powdery, and then you don't put them on the surface, you incorporate them into the soil so that wind or some other things will not blow them off. You incorporate them and then give them time. I think some of us can research into this, but definitely eggshell has plenty of calcium, and for it to be efficient, for you to use it as maybe as a lime, because most of our lime contain calcium, potassium, and magnesium. They reduce soil acidity. So if your soil is acidic, you can apply that shell, but make sure it is grounded, it is in the powder form, and then make sure you mix it with the soil. And I think with time, it can reduce the acidity. Then for soil improvement in the north, yes, I don't know. We in the north, maybe because our vegetation differs, we have the organic matter production differs. By the time you go maybe to the semi-arid, Sokoto, or you go to the northwest, or you go to Kaduna that is in the northern Guinea Savannah, we are in the southern Guinea Savannah, very close to the south. So our vegetation and our agriculture is very, our agroecological zone is very different. And that's why you need to do all you could to ensure that organic matter, you don't allow organic matter not to be in your soil. Then we have what is this? Somebody is asking about direct application. Direct application. Yes, we said you can apply animal material directly, but we are advising not to take it from the pen and then straight to the farm. Your crops can be affected. And I hope you know that you need to apply that 2 weeks before you even plant your crop, so that you allow it to, you give it time to mineralize. If you don't give it time and you are planting, the day you are applying, your plants may not get it. The time your plants need it, maybe that time it is still not yet being released, because we know that organic matter, the release of their nutrients is very, very gradual. It's very, very gradual. And I hope we know that when you apply organic matter, 50% of the nutrients is released in one rainy season. Then 50% of the 50 that is left in the following year, like that. So it is not exhausted. And you need to synchronize the release of your nutrient with your crop. So you apply organic matter 2 weeks before you bring your crop. So direct application is allowed, but we said you have to air dry it. And the essence is to avoid, picking up diseases. Somebody just helped me answer that of night soil or human excreta. It's all about protecting yourself from being infected with diseases. And that's why I believe no one refuses to recognize night soil as organic amendment. Then my friend in India is a microbiologist. And yes, when you the proportion, if you see the diagram we showed, you can see a drum there. So, and that drum is around 200 liters of water. 200 liters of water. So by volume, for example, for the tea, for the manual tea, you take 50 kg. When you get to 50 kg, when you take 50 kg and you fill your drum, and then you insert the sack where you have, where you have put in your manure. You insert it, and then you'll be lifting it as if as just the way you lift your tea after every 3 days. So 50 kg to 200 liters of water, because that's the content of that. And then for the plant tea, it should be 2/4 plants to full, and then to the ratio of a full 200 liters of water. That's what you do. And then you allow it to stand for 15 days. And then you'll be able to harvest. Then for use of machine to carry out composting. In fact, this is the first time, this is one lesson I have learned in this webinar. My problem with that is, how about the biologicals? How are they able to manage biologicals? Or do they introduce biofertilizers to the machine? I don't know. I've not heard of that before. Maybe somebody who is here can assist us in answering that. I'm only used to the natural way of doing to carry out compost, but not the use of machines. Then for I think I've answered. Is there anyone that I have left out?
None, sir.
All right. I know you say no because time.
Yes,
I can hear you.
Yes, no, don't worry. You have done well with time, sir. So let me invite Mr. Wale to address the one on raising animals organically.
Thank you.
Mr. Wale, over to you.
Thank you very much, Estiba. I quickly want to say that it is important for us to know that for animal production, we really need to look at the issue of many issues, because as you have rightly asked in the question, organic animal production requires a lot of things. We talk about the housing, we talk about the feeding, talk about the vaccination, we even talk about the slaughtering and the like, which all must be in conformity with the approved standard. But to make the work easier, what you should know is this. One of the first conditions that we should look at is the kind of housing condition, which I've mentioned as a principle that it is important for us to follow the principle that has to do with the physiological process of the animal in question at the rearing level. The kind of housing is important. That's why in organic system we are not allowed, the animals will not be able to really express themselves. Also, when it comes to another component which is very vital, and that is the feed. I will agree with that. There's no presently we cannot lay hands on any organic feed. And for you to say you are doing organic agriculture, a larger percentage of the feed ratio has to be from organic source, identified organic source. The standard states that at least 60% of the feed component on dry matter basis has to be from an organic source. 60% on dry matter, meaning that assuming you are doing poultry, if you're able to take care of the protein and also the energy source, if you can be sure that those are from organic sources, then you can start saying that the animal will be consuming throughout their lifestyle or till they go to table. Then you know that you have started, you're on the way to organic animal production. There are also some other things that need to be considered in terms of the age at which the animal is being brought in from an inorganic system to organic system. And after it's been brought in, it has to go through what we also call conversion. At the duration of conversion, these are specifics which I think in the subsequent webinars it will be fully looked into. Those are the things. But to say that organic agriculture cannot be done with animal production might be a misconception. It might, because in the thriving systems where we have organic really functional, including Nigeria, we have such farmers either having a group of farmers supplying their organic farmers supplying the raw material they use in their feed composition, or they also have their integrated farming system where they grow majority of the feed stuff that are used in producing the feed, which they feed their animals. But it is very important to know that livestock production in organic system is possible and it's doable in Nigeria, and we have people who are also doing it in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
I'd like you to address the one on advocacy. Just talk briefly on what NOAN is on advocacy.
The focus of NOAN and the KCA particularly is on advocacy. And the reason for this is to ensure that knowledge about organic agriculture is, the awareness on organic agriculture can get down to the basic implementers of the policies and the practice of organic agriculture. That I mean the farmers in the field, farmers in the rural areas, and some of the commercial farmers in the urbanized area. Basically, currently we have been rolling out workshops on awareness. Recently, we had GS awareness where we had the opportunity to reach out to local farmers and discuss with them some of their challenges and how they can be part of what we are doing in organic agriculture, and also how they can apply some of the trainings we have been giving them. We also had program activities that had to do with follow-up, where our multipliers were able to reach out to some of their, in fact, all of those they have had encounter with during their workshops. That happened in about 7 states, where over 15 to 20 multipliers were reached, and farms were visited to see how far the knowledge they have received have been useful to them in terms of implementation. Some of the challenges that they had, some of them were, in fact, some of the challenges are the things we discuss here in our webinar: soil conservation, pest control, and all of that. So we are doing all that to enhance advocacy. On the media part, we also on our, the social media, which has been effective through our handles on Facebook, YouTube, and all that. It's good we try to subscribe to some of these outreaches. Although for now we have slowed down a little on radio outreach, but that has been going on. Once in a while, we've had some television outreach as well. So in particular, KCOA has been very active on advocacy, and that will continue for a while until we have the awareness and knowledge of organic agriculture across the nation. I think, thank you very much. I will stop here because of the 1 minute that was given to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So thank you all so much for coming. But now to give
Hello, Mrs. Heziba.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, there is one issue I want us to raise or to capitalize on it, like what Mr. Pedulis has just said. In anything you are doing, you need advocacy and enlightenment. Most of our people now, they are not aware of this organic processing, and they are deeply into the organic chemical fertilizer using. That's what will also destroy our farmlands. So if we can go online, jingles and other ways of advocacy on media, and advocacy to the government or governors or the political leaders. We can harness the thing, and the people, they can be organizing training like what the presenter did. We can now cascade it down to the local community, and government can organize. We can organize such a training. If you present the package to the government, let's say to my state government, let's say Kano state government, if you can package it, send it to the government, and the governor will be able to, so that the team or your own team will now come and cascade the training, and will now cascade it to the local community, so that people will engage and will be fully aware of that, and it will be applicable for the sustainable food security in the country. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That's really brilliant. Help me, ma. Help us wrap up the meeting. She's one of our GB members. That's the governing board of NOAN. I didn't want to do the wrap up myself, and this is with the approval of the NOAN management. So, Dr. Ono, I'm sorry, ma, putting you on the spot. Please help us wrap up this meeting. Thank you, ma. Yes,
on
ma.
behalf of the Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria, I want to appreciate the facilitators. It was an exciting one. Aliyu is exactly in the same area with me, and he did justice to the topic that he was given. And so I want to appreciate every one of them. I also want to appreciate the participants, because if NOAN have finished cooking this food and there are not people to share it, it will have been a waste. But thank God, I can see about 90 people participated. And that will go a long way in helping us in becoming more organic than ever before. My prayer is that God will bless all of you. And whatever you left to ensure you participated in this program, God will grant you his speed and you will cover up. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ma, thank you so much, ma. Thank you everyone for joining. We will be in touch on WhatsApp and in the emails. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Aliyu. God bless organic agriculture. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.